was that the first time where you acknowledged, like, man, yeah, have experienced quite a bit of trauma,
Yeah,
and
I
I
didn't
never even
even
thought about it before?
never thought about it, Ray. I didn't even know I had trauma. You hear the word all the time, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah,
So he talks about how I'm like, okay, sure. I mean, I'll see. But now, as I get into regular population, everybody's talking about this trauma class. Like, don't do that. People come out of there crying. Don't go there. And everybody's talking bad about it because it's only like 8 people that was in the trauma group. So I
yeah,
was like, okay, thanks for telling me, guys. So he comes back up to me. He's like, and we have our regular therapy sessions, but he comes back to me and says, hey, do you think about the trauma, joining the trauma group? I was like, I don't know. I heard some crazy things about it between me and you. He said, listen, do me this favor. We're both from Brooklyn. Just come sit in there for 5-10 minutes. If you don't like it, you can get up and leave. I said, okay, no big deal. It was cool. Ray, I went up in there, and 5 minutes, I was bawling, crying.
mm,
And, again, get emotional thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know what was going on, but I asked God to open my heart to whatever I need to do to stay sober. And I ended up staying in rehab for over 3 months. I said,
wow,
I'm not coming home until I get better. And I went through the full trauma program. And this is the point where, and I don't want to skip over things, but just fast forward a little bit. This is where I realized the trauma I had from growing up, alcoholic dad. I realized I hate him. I resented my father so much, and I learned I had to forgive him.
mm,
And my father was an alcoholic, and he did the best he could as an alcoholic man to raise me and my sister. He did what an alcoholic can do. He
yeah,
did the best he could, and I realized I resented him, but to the point, Ray, where I even turned into him. I became that man who wasn't focused on his children, wasn't, loved his children. And my father loved us, but he wasn't focused on us. He wasn't making a difference in our life. He was, finances all in disarray. He was disheveled. He didn't care about himself. He didn't take care of himself. I was becoming that man. And I had to forgive him. And I just learned a lot about me. And see, until we know, and through the trauma, I learned the why I drink. And until we
mm,
know the why behind the problem, we can't come up with a strategy to change the behavior, of the
yeah,
issue we have. And that's why I really learned like the why behind my drinking, the why.
yeah.
Why
I
am I
mean, the
doing?
why. Yeah, I was gonna say the why is such a powerful place. And first of all, I remember the first time I tried to ask myself that question. It
Yeah,
took me a minute to
yeah,
really drill down, and I too spent a significant amount of time in therapy in those early, in early sobriety, and I'm still in therapy today. But answering that question around the why gave me something to hold on to, right?
yeah,
It gave me
definitely.
it gave me something to ground myself in, that I could work from. And I think until I was able to answer that question, there is a certain amount of you just feel a little bit lost
All
in
right.
in the journey, right? I appreciate you guys listening to the Stacking Days podcast. I hope this episode added value to your recovery and wellness journey. Before we go our separate ways, let's connect on social. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Stacking Days, or via the website www.stackingdays.com. By supporting the show, you can play a direct role in amplifying people of color in their pursuit of recovery. The easiest way to do that is to subscribe or hit the follow button. This way, you'll never miss an episode, all while playing an active part in creating the ecosystem where diverse voices and healing matter. This show is for the purpose of education and connection and is not a replacement for therapy or recovery care. For more information on the resources and support available, take a look at SAMHSA and some other resources shared in the description. Until we meet again, be well, one day at a time.